Oftentimes I'm asked a question about Islam because a lot of people come to me and say, man, they're confused about what Islam really teaches. They'll say, you know, I got a friend who's a Muslim and he said this about Islam, and then the very next day he hears somebody else on television say something else about Islam that contradicts his previous friend's kind of statement about it. So he wonders, well, how do we figure out what truly is an Islamic doctrine or a teaching? And the answer is actually rather simple. You want to avoid or not take too seriously what Muslims say about Islam. Rather, what you want to do is consider what Islam teaches. And in Islam, there are three primary, how should we say, authoritative sources. I mean, there's others, but these are the three primary ones. The first one is the Quran, and the Quran is literally the literal words of Allah. Okay, they believe that unlike with the Bible, where we say the Bible is the inspired word of God, Muslims say it's the literal word of God that was dictated to Muhammad by the angel Gabriel. And so this is the highest authority in Islam. They actually believe that a parallel to Christianity to the Quran would not be the Bible. They say it would actually be Jesus Christ himself. In the same way that we would say Jesus is the divine word, the divine logos, they would say the Quran is the divine word in Islam. So this is how highly they view the Quran, and it's the top authority in Islam. Now there's also something called the Hadith Literature. And Hadith Literature are written traditions about what Muhammad either said, did, or approved of. And so, you know, he said all sorts of things about different subjects, about marriage, about divorce, about war, about prayer, about anything. And they've been categorized according to subject and put into these Hadith Literature, these large volumes. And so, although this material is not on par with the Quran in terms of authority, it is nonetheless extremely authoritative. In fact, Sharia law, which is Islamic law found in many Islamic countries, and how they base a lot of their civil laws and other kinds of things, is based on this Hadith literature. So it's extremely authoritative in that sense. And then there's a third source of authority, and this is called the Sunnah. And the Sunnah is the life example that it was set by Muhammad. So how he lived is almost kind of like a precedent for other Muslims and how they should live today. It's kind of similar to the way that we as believers, as Christians, see Jesus Christ as a kind of a perfect model for how we should behave. And so these three sources of authority provide us with a handy tool to determine whether a teaching is truly Islamic or not. If you want to know if it's Islamic or not, just look and see. Is it consistent with those three authoritative sources, the Quran, the Hadith, the Sunnah? If it is, then it's a good chance that it is truly a genuinely Islamic idea. However, if it's not found in those three sources, or if it's contradicted by those three sources, well then, it's not probably going to be a Quranic and Islamic idea. So that's the way that I would encourage you and other people who are trying to figure out what is truly Islamic. Look at those three sources, and that's a good way to determine whether something is Islamic or not.